Today, we're settling a debate that has raged for decades. Who is the ultimate movie bully? We're taking a deep dive into the most iconic Mean Girls and Ruthless Jocks from the 90s and 2000s and pitting them against each other in our very own bully to bully bracket. Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, one of our diehards, good friend and host of the podcast Shoot Punch Kick, Anthony, is here joining us. Welcome, Anthony.
Yay!
Thanks for having me. First time, long time. Long time fan of the show.
No, honestly, thank you. You have been so supportive of this entire journey from Jump, and you transitioned to just like a friend saying, "Oh, cool," to actually really liking the show, and it feels really nice every time you send a message saying, "Really love this episode." It's been very, very nice, especially since the beginning when nobody was listening. So
Well,
appreciate you.
as patient zero of the podcast, no, it's so dope to see just what you guys evolved into. And anytime there's an episode, I'll get the notification and I'm like, oh, I got to see what they say. And I just hope, because I like a lot of movies, so I'm always a little bit hesitant of just be kind to my baby. But the takes are funny, so I always like to listen.
I
Our,
got a
go ahead.
message from my friend Ashley after Remember the Titans dropped. And
Oh
she's like,
shit.
second best sports movie of all time after She's the Man. I'm like, oh, wait.
That's a
Which I'm
take.
like,
That's a
not
hot
wrong about
take.
She's the Man, but you may want to listen to the episode before you may be doing some recalculations in best sports movies.
Yeah.
I mean, if you if you take out some parts, yes. I don't know. We tore that thing apart. I am
Yeah.
so sorry to anybody who loves that movie. We didn't mean to. We very much love that movie.
We were excited to do it, and then
Yeah.
we all came together and were like,
Hmm.
On second thought, you just as people, we watch movies usually in
Mhm.
a silo. And I was a big IMDb message board person because it was like, oh
Yes.
man, there's people who love movies the way I do. And
Yeah.
usually you go into unless it's something new, if you go to a 10-year-old movie back then, it was like you love that movie if you're so talking about it or in a message board. But yeah, I wasn't fully ready for movie podcasts because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, let's see how much they love Terminator as well, or whatever the movie, and they're just shitting on it. So
Yeah, Anthony got me to watch and really love Terminator. I never It's like my dad always and my brothers always loved all of those Arnold movies,
Mhm.
but I don't think I really ever paid attention or fully watched Terminator. It was kind of like one of those things where you're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it, but did I?" And then this guy was like, "Ugh,
I'm
this
like,
is
hi, this is my identity. Nice.
right." So I was like, "Oh, I have to watch this." And I think at the time when we met, because we used to work together, the Terminator TV show came out,
Oh yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, I love this." And when
Yeah.
when it got canceled, devastation.
You know what it was
Oh.
for, and I don't know if this is with movies for you guys. Like I saw Terminator when I was 8 years old in 1992, whatever. I was second grade. Then it was dry for 12 years, 13 years. So anything they hit me with, they had Terminator 3 and then that was bad. So then it was another 8 years to have something decent. Don't take this away from me, Danielle. I needed that. I needed that win.
No, I really Terminator 2 is the best one, and it's really good.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still watch any Terminator movie that comes out. Like you completely turned me on to the genre.
So
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you for
you.
tuning into our podcast, Terminator Talk. This is the first episode.
So
Uh,
why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
I'm a host on a Shoot Punch Kick with two of my friends, childhood friends that I literally grew up with. Probably, known one since like maybe 4 or 5, and the other one since like 9. And the way we knew each other was as kids, we used to make movies in our neighborhood, and
Oh,
basically they were all Terminator 3. So we like learned how to all Terminator fans, big action movie fans, and we kind of do what you guys do, which you guys were a huge inspiration for our podcast of we do action movies from the 80s and 90s. 90s are our cutoff point. And surprisingly, we do a lot of like first watches. Like I thought we'd just be going through all of like our favorite movies, but now we just basically use it as an excuse to watch things that we always wanted to watch. So yeah, I think we're about like 30 episodes in and just having a good time with it.
That's
so cool.
awesome. That's so
Yeah, movie
sweet that
nerds.
we were such an inspiration to you.
Well, as Danielle knows, I'm always like, oh man, I want to do this. I want to do that. And it was like this thing. I hadn't talked to one of the guys for probably 30 years. And we all met up. We were just like bullshitting one day. And then it came up like a week later. It was like, hey, would you guys want to do like a podcast and just like basically a recorded movie club? And I was surprised that they were both like, sure. So yeah, we went 30 years without talking, and now I talk to these guys like, every couple of days. So it's literally been the glue of our friendship this last year. But really cool to like, be in touch with people again. And every once in a while we'll see like these movies that come out. Like they had Ninja Turtles did the like 35-year anniversary. So
Mhm.
we wound up going to see that. Sometimes we'll get tickets to like some weird action movie. So it's been a good excuse to hang out with each other without seeming desperate.
Well, are you ready for a game?
We are. So our game is Bully to Bully. The goal is to debate and decide who would win in a fight, a battle of wits, or a contest of pure meanness.
Hmm.
And so our contenders are Regina George from Mean Girls, Mike Dexter from Can't Hardly Wait, Spike from Little Giants, Deebo from Friday, the O'Doyles from Billy Madison, Rick Sanford from Angus, and Jay and Ernie Ice from Hocus Pocus, and Courtney Shane from Jawbreaker.
Mm.
Ah, I got all my money on Courtney Shane.
Yeah, I was gonna go. I'm surprised your girl is not on here.
Look, Taylor Vaughn from She's All That is not a bully. She's minding her business. She was ruling the school. She cared about hotness, hot guys, and winning prom queen. That's it.
Mm.
If you happen to get in her way, yes, she gonna obliterate you.
Couldn't the same be said for Regina George?
No, because
Okay.
it's her goal in life to make people's lives a miserable hell.
Okay.
I don't know. The O'Doyles have generational
That's
bully
true.
They
bullying power,
do. I
but yeah,
I think Rick is immediately out. I think
re-
any of these people, including Spike from Little Giants, could take him. He just doesn't have anyone challenge him.
Right. Yeah. Rick is just insecure. And
Hmm.
Angus just happens to be easy prey for him.
Yes.
what I like about him though, in terms of the bully aspect, is reminds me a little of like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Like, there's no
Uh,
redeeming or like explanatory scene with Rick. He's just a dick. Like,
yeah.
there
Yes.
wasn't like a scene where his dad drops him off and his dad's like abusive, and you're like, oh, he's just taking it out on. Like, there's no context. He's just mean, but he's not like like as bad as some of the other people. But I don't know. In terms of just like getting beat up, I'm gonna say like Debo's probably the
See,
biggest threat.
Yes.
but
Deebo
we
is just, he's like a pit bull. Like he just locks in and then he's like, that
but
is
he
what I'm
can
going
be
to tear
taken
apart.
down.
Mm.
I mean, if you have a brick.
Yeah, yeah.
I there's some people on this list that wouldn't be above throwing a brick. The O'Doyles,
Mm,
Yeah.
they
this
would
is
throw a
true.
brick. Regina would, I think she would take the screws out of Debo's bicycle.
Oh, that's true. Mike
Courtney Shane
Dexter,
too.
I think, is on the same playing field as Rick Sanford. They're just used to being idolized.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I think if they were ever like challenged, they
Yeah,
would
they would back down.
quickly cower. Yeah.
It was
Also, I
just
think
wild. Like Mike Dexter, there was so much of the movie. Like you do feel bad for him for a little
Yes, he has
while.
Yeah.
Like he
redeeming
becomes
qualities.
really sympathetic, and I think also like he's good to like another character that we like, right? Like anytime, like there was some redeeming stuff with
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
but yeah, what at the end of that movie, that was like, fuck Mike Dexter.
Yeah.
He's mean again to my boys.
Mike Dexter and Rick Sanford are the type of bullies that time will take care of.
Hmm.
Yes.
So, like, they're not a real threat. Except, again, with Rick not having any kind of redeeming qualities, we don't know how far he's willing to go. Because even
Mhm.
when Angus does stand up to him, he still doesn't feel bad. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
he's still horrible. Like, you know what? I actually would say Rick Sanford is the type of person who's going to become a horrible politician, like the
Mhm.
most evil type, like the Rick Scotts of the world.
Mm,
Just no morals, no like
None.
empathy, no
Nothing.
sympathy, just
There is
ruthless.
nothing there. And so the amount of damage that they're willing to do to other people, infinite.
terrible.
Deebo just wants your money,
That's true.
like, and a brick will take his ass out. Deebo will be going in and out of jail. So,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
But
I do
I'll hold
agree.
my judgment for the O'Doyles because we never explore like Dad O'Doyle because they're just kind of like very minor bullies in school.
yeah.
But like if there's like a origin movie or like a prequel where like he's like he's just fresh out of jail, like murdered somebody, that could put the O'Doyles a little bit above Debo. Like I'm holding my judgment for some really dark O'Doyle stories, some
Yeah,
dark O'Doyle rule stories.
because we don't really know anything about them except that they might push or shove and they love to say
Mhm.
their name.
Mm.
That's the extent of their bulliness and the generational
Yeah.
See, I think
That
bullying.
that's the scary part, right? Like they're
Yeah.
raised with that, so it's like, what's the limit? Like, how far does that go? And you see that, like, what does that look like in first grade? What does that look like in junior high school?
hmm
I need that. I need that Dad O'Doyle spinoff movie.
Jay and Ernie are just corny from Hocus Pocus. Like, they literally are hanging out in the graveyard. They're trying to steal a bike. Like, they're not great bullies.
yeah.
All right, you got two people on this list, the bike thieves.
True. Now, Spike can be taken down, but Spike is insane because the fact that Spike is this crazy and he hasn't even gone through puberty, I can
Yeah.
see him being roided out
Hmm.
in high school and in college.
But I think Spike is just a product of his environment. I think
True, all of these people are,
I think Spike if he was nurtured a little bit, then there might be hope for him. Is
but he's
my
not. You see his daddy.
Yeah, he's
Who's
he's
nurturing him if he finds like so he falls in love, you mean?
or like if he joined the Little Giants
He
versus
ain't
being on
doing
the other
that. Spike
mm,
team.
like to win. Like Spike, when
yeah.
you're referring to yourself in third person, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
He was like
Yeah.
lifting weights too at like 8 years old.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like he hasn't even gotten to high school yet. He is gonna get roided out. He's gonna be insane
Er,
for sure. Yeah.
insane. He's already there.
Now, Regina is entitled,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of us have discussed many times that her internalized hate for probably most likely being a lesbian is why she's torturing everybody. So maybe when we see her at the end of the movie playing field hockey, she's found her people. Maybe when she comes out, she's chill.
And I
Maybe.
So,
think you take away her resources, you take away her minions, you take away her money and her status. She's not left with much.
yeah. Yeah, and yeah, so it depends on what part of the movie we would be
Mhm.
framing it. But Courtney Shane, that bitch don't care.
She doesn't.
Feel like that's like
She
every movie though, right? It's like, okay, who's the worst bully for the first hour? Because they're all getting theirs in this last act.
Courtney Shane killed her best friend one,
She's a
the
sociopath.
yeah, 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 yeah.
She's just like,
She,
who's someone else I can make pretty and make my fourth? Like, we'll
yeah.
just replace her. It's fine.
Yeah, she's not just a mean girl. She has legit mental situations going
Yeah.
on. Okay, so who's the worst and who's the least worst? I think we could do that at least.
Probably Jay and Ernie are the least.
Yeah.
I want to say Courtney Shane is the worst, followed maybe by the O'Doyles, or
Yeah,
maybe,
because there's so many of them, they'll jump
yeah,
you. What do you think, Anthony?
I have the O'Doyle's pretty low, just on their terms of like, dumping the garbage. All right, not ideal. Like, I feel like I wouldn't like need to move or change schools. On the high end, I think definitely Regina George. That's like a little bit of just cutting to the core. Like I feel like then I would be like maybe needing like some therapy to deal with. And just Deebo off the fact that he's like, he's the worst for me, just because he's around, he would be around where I live, like just roaming around to where people are like highly alert, can't even hang out in the front of your house
yeah.
without being robbed. Like, no place is sacred. Climbing in another guy's window, like, I think just in terms of the stats, if I had to put them all on one, I think Deebo has like the actual rap sheet, like the credentials of just like a resume of just doing terrible things to people. So he's the worst for me on a physical fear standpoint. Regina probably on like an emotional.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Debo's pretty up there. And as a kid, like Spike would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But that's where I would have the same like a foam tube wrapped
Yeah.
around. Like I would go to school with that on.
Oh boy. Well, I have a question for all of us. What is your personal favorite, most despised, or most memorable movie bully from the 90s and 2000s? And why do they hold that special place in your heart
Ooh, most
or your
hated.
most permanent spot of most hated on your list? God, I'm trying to. Oh, I know. I know
I
mine.
I have to remember his name.
Oh.
I don't know. He's not the worst, but I think just because he's the one that I'm the most familiar with, having watched him every year, is Kevin's brother Buzz. And
Yes.
I think because one, he lives with him, but he's just like terrible to him.
Hmm.
And I think of just like when you realize how young Kevin is, because like, another person, like you start to see them and, you like this character. He's also a jerk. Like he really is
Yeah.
a jerk. Kevin, especially the way he talks to his mom. But I think like when you just go through just seeing like the minor interactions that he has with Buzz, like I could, if someone's happy that they wake up and you just disappeared, I think that's a good indication. And also
Yeah.
too, you really don't see him bully him much because he's gone. But I think just the fact of that he's so happy he's gone, maybe it's just my mind filling in the blanks of I'm putting Buzz up there as all-time bully for me.
Yeah, he doesn't let up. Do you have one, Jackie?
I do. Tony Perkis from Heavyweights. That
Oh man.
character made me hate Ben Stiller to this day. And it makes me so like so angry watching that movie, knowing that those kids were really overweight and being told these things, even though it was just a movie. Like it just, the whole thing infuriates me.
Yeah. Oh, it's there's so many for me. If we're thinking, like, I think the bullies that always make me the most upset are adults that are
Mhm.
mean to children. So like the little princess, that lady that was in charge of the orphanage, knowing that this girl, like all the things it pisses me off. But the first person that came to my mind was Laura from The Craft, the one that Christine Taylor played, because
Yes.
there is no worse bullying than racism for me. Like
Mm.
that that will stay with you forever.
She
Thinking
deserved
about
to lose her hair.
she and more.
Yep.
And more, I would have done the worst spells on that bitch.
Yes.
The hair thing was the least that I could do. Ugh, hate that bitch. All
Well,
right.
now it's time to rewind and press play on Anthony's employee picks. He's grabbing his blue polo and stocking the Blockbuster shelves with his top three movie must haves from 95 to 2005.
Well,
Ooh.
actually, I'm gonna put on my blue denim button-down shirt
Ooh.
as a former shift leader at Hollywood Video because those are my
Oh.
credentials. So I wasn't cool enough to work at Blockbuster. I applied. Hollywood Video, like, we'll take you. 95 to 2005, and I'll bring this up later in the episode. The first one's gonna be Mallrats. That was just the perfect time for me to like enter junior high school with just the a super like vulgar approach. Like I think that's where I started really watching like rated R comedies as opposed to just like I always watched rated R action movies, but that was the first time that really like the just quippy dialogue and super dirty. Love that movie. Matrix was like the DVD showcase. Like, I got a PlayStation and it was like, oh man, you don't have the Matrix. That was like the tech demo. I saw it a million times. And the last one, it was one of the last movies that was released when I was in Hollywood Video was Kill Bill Volume 1. I
Nice.
wore that one out. I don't know if you could wear out a DVD, but if you could, those would be the top three on my pick on
Did
my
you
shelf.
Amazing.
did you see that? So Tarantino owns a movie theater and he released the Kill Bill movie, but it's like both of them.
Mhm.
Like he edited them as one movie.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
And so
interesting.
people could go see it at the theater. And this, I saw a video of some guy saying he went to see it and it was like, changed my life. It was so good.
Wow.
Been waiting forever. So now I'm like curious what that looks like.
Me too.
I went and saw Kevin Smith last night. So
Oh yeah,
Mallrats is
how was
very
that?
topical. It was fantastic. It was like just at a comedy club, very like intimate setting. I was within 10 feet of him and he just stood up there and told stories. He's such a fantastic storyteller
Hmm.
that I can just sit and listen to him for hours. But he did say currently, if you have a 40K Regal Cinema nearby, they are showing Dogma in 4DK. And if you don't know what that is, it's the seats that like move and like
Oh yeah.
you get like smells and like water misted
Water.
on
Yeah.
you and stuff. And he said, he's like, well, there's not a whole lot going on like the first third of the movie, except for characters relaying the story to one another. So he said, like, the chairs move at the beginning of the movie where Loki and Bartleby are on like the people mover sidewalk, and he said you just slightly start like tilting like you're like following them. And then he was shown it before it was released and they asked him for any notes. He's like, can you pump in the shit smell when the shit demon
I was just
shows
thinking
up?
that.
The guy was like, no, no one wants that. He was like, fine. So that was his little story he told. So currently in theaters, go see Dogma in 40K.
Nice. Well, if you have any bullies that we missed, or you didn't like our ranking or liked our ranking, make sure you hit us up at No More Late Fees on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, and Blue Sky. And next week, we'll be hitting the road with Almost Famous.
Danielle, you're my tiny dancer.
I thought you were going to tell me something serious.
And as always, be kind, rewind, and O'Doyle rules.